Hi everyone, my name is Cal DeSange. I'm the CEO and President of Kids Play Foundation, and I'm also a police officer with the Vancouver Police Department. I'm currently a detective in the General Investigation Unit in Financial Crime. So essentially with Kids Play Foundation is I've been with the Vancouver Police Department for close to 19 years now, and I spent approximately 13 years in a operational capacity. And during that time period, I spent the lion's share of that in the downtown east side as a beat patrol officer. It was during that time period that I saw a steady proliferation of youth entering the lifestyle, drugs, gangs, and crime in the open air drug market. And it bothered me because I felt we were part of the solution. When I say we, that being law enforcement. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you have to keep in mind when you're down there and you're arresting these kids and charging them and putting them through the criminal justice system and they're being convicted. They're being spewed out on the other end, thrown into YDC, which is the Youth Detention Center, and potentially becoming more hardened criminals and being thrown back out on the street, once again to become re-engaged in that perpetual cycle of violence and criminal behavior. So I felt that it was necessary that we give these kids positive constructive outlets and an opportunity to keep away from that type of negative lifestyle, whereas they've been given the amenities and resources to be successful. And what I had in mind was free educational and sporting opportunities for these kids. Because you got to keep in mind, a lot of these kids come from lower socioeconomic backgrounds in that area. And on that basis, a lot of them are a lot more susceptible to entering the lifestyle of drugs, gangs, and crime. And so I obtained some nominal funding. And on a day off, myself and a couple of other officers, we went in and we put together a one-day soccer tournament for inner city kids. And it was a huge success. We had approximately 150 kids from the downtown east side school catchment area come out and engage in the soccer tournament. And it gave these kids a chance to be kids again. So our primary thinking process was two-tier, where the first objective was that we wanted to establish a dialogue and positive rapport with these kids. And the second one was we wanted to give these kids some positive constructive outlets, such as this sporting opportunity. And you got to keep in mind, primarily on account of the fact that they come from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, a lot of them can't afford the basic amenities, let alone being registered for organized sports. So for us, it was an opportunity to give these kids something positive, something different, and something that would take them away from that criminal lifestyle and put them on the right track. And so that program, it grew exponentially every single year, so much so that within the course of 8 years, it went from 150 kids at Strathcona Park to approximately 2,000 kids at BC Place Stadium, all free of cost. And once again, they were all inner city kids from different races, ethnicities, and backgrounds. And we wanted kids, once again, to have an opportunity to be kids again. And the program, seeing its success, we just knew that this was a concept that we had to transplant into the general community, to the general public, so that everyone can benefit from it. Recently, I'm sure you've read in the papers that there's been a very strong overrepresentation of Southeast Asian youth that have been involved in the drug and gang lifestyle. I think this was a perfect portal or conduit to give these kids an opportunity to get out of that lifestyle and get back on the right track. And so having said that, we registered a nonprofit called Kids Play Foundation back in 2015, and that was done in collaboration in conjunction with Arjun Buller, who's the first Southeast Asian UFC fighter. And from 2015 till now, we've had over 40,000 kids go through our program. We provide free educational and sporting opportunities for these kids. And the reason why I've kept it free is I don't want any child to be deprived of an opportunity to engage in something positive just because it might be financially restrictive or prohibitive on their parents, especially in the case of those underprivileged kids that came from lower socioeconomic backgrounds in the downtown east side. So our programs have grown exponentially, where we've added some major key stakeholders and partnerships into the folds of our organization. That includes multiple levels of government, and as well major organizations such as the Vancouver Giants, Whitecaps, and the BC Lions. And the first Indian NBA player, Satnam Singh, ran his very first basketball camp with us. That was sometime last year. And so we're bringing in some major key stakeholders in the community. And the reason why is because I want these organizations and these superstars to be role models and inspirational figures for the youth. And if we can all work in collaboration with one another, we can achieve so much more. So based on the success of our programs, we are now developing national and international strategies as well. We're currently looking at an international mission to Africa where we can work with youth there. And for our national strategy, is as of last year, we developed a program where we introduced Canadian-born kids to a Southeast Asian sport played back in India called Kabaddi. And we ended up training the kids and sending them to the very first World Cup of Kabaddi in Toronto, where they had a chance to play within their age division. So it's an exciting time. We're thinking out of the box, and we want to give these kids new positive alternatives, once again, to keep them away from a lifestyle of drugs, gangs, and crime. And so far, so good. It's working.